aspirants, I'm Indumati Karthikeyan from Inkar IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the 19th February current affairs, the topic taken from the Delhi editorial. The topic is Quacks may well sharpen India's seismic readiness. The topic comes under our GS3, disaster and disaster management. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the what is earthquake, what is the focus and epicenter, what are the causes of earthquakes, and what is fault zone, plate tectonics, volcanic activity, human induced earthquakes, earthquake based on the depth of the focus, and what are the shallow focus earthquake, deep focus earthquake, what are the distribution of the earthquake. These are the topic we are going to discuss by today's news. First of all, why it is in the news? There is a quack may will sharpen India's seismic readiness. That 2 years ago, on February 6, the people of Turkey and Syria were jolted out their sleep. At least 17,000 were killed, with the numbers mounting within minutes. A greater earthquake shook those countries, and also a second jolt came like a collaborator of the first 9 hours later, destroying whether the building stood on around a scene of the first trauma. First of all, these are the first trauma. First of all, you must know what is earthquake. An earthquake is a shaking of terrible, a tumbling of the earth's surface caused by the seismic waves or earthquake waves that are generated due to the sudden movement, sudden release of the energy in the earth crust. Shallow focus earthquakes or upper mantle, that some shallow focus and all intermediate and deep focus earthquakes. A seismograph, that is a seismometer, is an instrument that used to detect and record the earthquakes. First of all, you must know what is focus and epicenter. The point where the energy is released is called the focus or the hypocenter of an earthquake. The point on the surface directly above the focus is called the epicenter. That is the first surface point which experiences the earthquake waves. That is a line connecting all the points on the surface where the intensity is the same is called the isoseismic line. So these are the main important vocabularies in the earthquakes. And also what is the foreshocks and aftershocks? First of all, the usually a major or even moderate earthquakes of shallow focus is followed by many lesser size earthquake known as the aftershocks. A mild earthquake that preceding the violent shaking movement of an earthquake is known as the foreshock. There is a swarm. So first of all, a large number of small earthquakes may occur in a region for months without a major earthquake. Such series of earthquakes are called as a swarms. And also there is a earthquake associated with the volcanic activity then occur in the swarms. The earthquake swarms can serve as a marker for the location of the following magma throughout the volcanization. And also there is a many causes of the earthquake. First of all, fault zone, plate tectonics, there is a volcanic activity, and also the human induced earthquakes. These are the 4 types. Mainly the fault zone. First of all, the intermediate causes of the most shallow earthquake in the sudden release of stress along a fault rupture in the earth crust, the sudden slipping of rock formation along fault rupture. The earth crust happened due to the constant charge in volume and density of rocks due to immense temperature and pressure in this earth interior. There is a deformation and rupturing, that is Stephen earlier, longer of the length and the wider of the faulted area, the larger the resulting magnitude, the longest earthquake ruptures along thrust fault, that convergent boundary or approximately 1000 kilometers. The longest earthquake ruptures on that strike slip faults and transform faults are about half of the 1/3 as long as the length along and the thrust fault. The fault ruptures along the normal faults, that is a divergent boundary and shorter. Next one is a plate tectonics, that is a slipping, that is a land along the fault line that along the convergent, divergent and transform boundaries causes the earthquake. There is a reverse fault, that is the convergent boundaries are associated with the most powerful earthquake, that mega thrust earthquake, including almost all of the magnitude is around 8 or more. That is magnitude that is very high. that mega thrust earthquakes occurs at a subduction zone. That is how tectonic plate is forced underneath another. That is a 2004 ocean earthquake. And also there is a strike slip force, particularly continental transform, can produce a major earthquake up to about 8 magnitude. And also there is a San Andreas fault. There is a transform fault where a Pacific plate and North American plate that move historically that relative to each other, causing earthquake along the fault lines. The earthquake associated with the normal force, that is a divergent boundary or generally less than the magnitude of 7. And finally there is a volcanic activity is one of the natural cause. That is a volcanic activity or also cause an earthquake, but an earthquake of volcanic origin are generally less severe or more limited in extent, that those causes by the fracturing of the earth crust. Earthquakes in volcanic region are caused by the consequent release of the elasticity and strain energy both by the tectonic faults and also the movements of the magma in volcanoes. Such earthquake can serve as an early warning of the volcanic eruption that during the 1980s ruptures of the St. Helens, and also there is a clear correspondence between the geographic distribution of volcanoes and major earthquakes, particularly the circum-Pacific belt and also the oceanic ridge. That is a volcanic winds, however, are generally several hundred kilometers from the epicenter of most major shallow earthquakes, and many earthquake sources that occurs nowhere near active volcanoes. And also there is a human-induced earthquakes. Human-induced earthquake is referred to the typically minor earthquake and head tremors that caused by the human activity like mining, that large scale of petroleum extraction and artificial lakes, that is reservoirs, maybe dam construction, the nuclear test. These are the things created a seismicity, that is a reservoir induced seismicity. First of all, there is the pressure offered by a column of water in a large deep artificial lake that alters stress along an existing fault or fracture. That is a percolation of water weakens the soil structure and lubricate the fault. The loading of unloading of water can significantly changes the stress. The significant changes in stress which lead to the sudden movement along the fault and the fracture that resulting in an earthquake. That is a 6.3 magnitude in 1967. That is a Koinangar earthquake that is occurred near the Koina Dam, that reservoir in Maharashtra, and claimed more than 150 lives. That there have been several earthquakes smaller magnitude since then. Some geologists believe that the earthquake was due to the reservoir triggered seismic activity. The 2008 Sichuan earthquake, which caused approximately 68,000 deaths, is another possible example. It is believed that the construction and filling of the Sipingpu dam, that is, may have triggered the earthquake. This is a major concern which is done by the human induced earthquake. The earthquake based on the depth of the focus. First of all, the earthquake can occur that anywhere between the earth's surface about 700 kilometer below the surface. The seismic purpose of the earthquake depth ranges is around 0 to 700 kilometer, which is derived as a shallow zone, immediate zone and deep zone. First of all, the shallow focus, that is earthquake, are found within the earth outer crustal layer, which deep focus earthquake which occurs the deeper subduction zone of the earth, that is around 0 to 70 a kilometer deep, and also intermediate earthquake is around 70 to 300 kilometer, and deep earthquake is around 300 to 700 kilometer. That is a shallow earthquake region, and also intermediate and deep earthquake. Of the total energy released in this earthquake is around 12 to 15% come from the intermediate earthquake, the 3 to 5% from the deepened earthquake, and 70 to 80% for the shallow earthquake. So the great majority of earthquakes have shallow focus that are called as a crustal earthquake. The majority of the shallow focus earthquake are smaller magnitude, usual range of 1 to 5, that few can be a higher magnitude and can cause a great deal of the destruction. They occur quite frequently and at random. However, the most of the either a smaller magnitude or occur along the submarine ridges, the often not felt. And also there is a deep focus earthquake. In general, the term deep focus earthquake is mainly, it's deeper than the 70 kilometer. The deeper focus earthquakes or commonly occur in the pattern of many of zones, that is a zone dip into the earth indicating the presence of the subducting slab, that is a zone of subduction. Hence they are also known as the intraplate earthquake. And also there is a huge quakes with larger magnitude of around usually 6 to 8 magnitude. A greater deal for this energy is released forceful collision of the plates, but the earthquake alone may not cause much destruction as the foci of the quakes lie at the great depth of the energy of the quakes that disappears over the wider area. And also there is a distribution of the earthquake is another criteria. There is a distribution that major earthquakes occurs mainly in the belts coinciding with the magnetic margins of the tectonic plates. That is a most important earthquake plate is that is around the circum-Pacific belt, which affects many populated coastal region around the Pacific Ocean. And for the example of New Zealand, New Guinea, Japan, and Aleutian Island, Alaska, and the western coast of the North and South America. The seismic activity, but no means uniform throughout the belt. There were many branches at various points. Because of these many plates, the circum-Pacific belt is associated with the volcanic activity. It has been popularly dubbed as a Pacific Ring of Fire. The Pacific Ring of Fire accounts for about 68% of the earthquake. A second belt is known that is known as the Alpine belt, that is the Himalaya and Alps. The energy released in the earthquake from the belt, that is released in earthquake from the belt of the 15% of the world total. The mid-world mountain, that is Alpine belt, extends parallel to the equator from Mexico across the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, from the Alpine Caucasus ranges, and also Caspian, Himalayan mountains, and the adjoining lands. These are the striking connected belts of the seismic activity, mainly along oceanic ridge, including Arctic Ocean and Atlantic Ocean and the Western Indian Ocean, along with the Rift Valley of East Africa. These are the major zones which is severely affected by the frequent earthquakes. Thank you so much.